So, Michelle, we're here.
We are, finally.
How long have we spoke about doing this?
We've spoke for ages about doing it, especially since we were on the Ideal Homes show stage last year.
Yeah.
And we thought, we can do this.
Rylan and Ruth.
Glasgow's answer to Rylan and Ruth.
And ultimately, we just thought, let's go for this. Let's do it. And then life just got in the way, didn't it?
Yeah. So here we are. But yeah. So looking forward to it. A wee bit nervous as you are when you're doing something new, but yeah, hopefully we can bring something different to the listeners.
And it's going to be like so exciting because we have spoke about what we want to do, why we wanted to do this podcast, and it's basically what we do in our day-to-day lives and how we met and just everything and all the fun in between.
Yeah. So I think then we should probably go back a wee bit and tell people who we actually are and how we did meet, and how our two worlds now collide. I think it was actually, so for like 20 odd years I worked in a corporate organisation, and I was always creative and always wanting to do things up and have fun and be with people and whatever. So the opportunity came when I could leave the job and take my redundancy, and I thought at this point in time I had always like bought and sold houses, etc., and people asked me to help them do up their houses, and I thought, right, I'm going to do this as a living. And then of course COVID happened, as it did for everybody, but for many people it had made changes in their lives. But I just thought, how do you move on and get on with it? So when I launched my own business to do interior design after studying during COVID, I then went on to open my studio, and lo and behold, this wee person walks in at the opening night of my studio, and here we are. How many? 2 years later?
2 years later.
2 years later.
And it hasn't felt like 2 years, has it?
I know.
And when you actually look back through, you know this bit on your phone where it's pretty much all the faces of people in your photo album. Yeah. It's like Michelle's there and you actually click in it and it's just the screeds of messages, the screeds of photos that you and I, of the memories that we've created, is just, it's wild. And it's both been work and pleasure, which is the nice balance. Definitely.
But I think like your interest in home interiors. So also during COVID, you did something as well. Yeah.
So my backstory was pretty much, we started blogging our home buying journey on Instagram, and we bought our first home in 2018, and I set it up because I thought I was going to be the next big thing. So I set up the page in 2018 and didn't even think about it. I literally just was chucking up photos here and there, and actually I then would go from month to month not posting. And then it was when I got furloughed during COVID that I started to think, right, what can I do to fill my time here? And it just kind of took off from there.
So you then created what we would class as an Instagram influencer account, for home interiors.
Home account gang.
Right, okay. Home account. Need to get with the lingo for the Instagram. So it's called Hattie Larkin's Home.
It's called Hattie Larkin's Home,
and that's your Declan Hattie, and Jonathan,
Hattie.
Your other half is Jonathan Larkins.
Yeah, and it's really funny because when any brands or that message to do any collabs, it's hi Hattie.
Which is quite good. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
So you then obviously have an interest in when you came to my studio. You were like, wow, love it here.
Yep.
We just clicked. And I mean, there's a significant age gap. Should I say? I was 50 this year, and you're 30 this year.
Shh, don't tell everybody, Michelle.
So there's so we're no natural to come together to work together and to have as the bond that we've got. So that's quite good. And you keep me young, shall I say? Just not quite in the lingo. But I think instantly you were saying that you were hoping to go out on your own with social media.
Yeah.
And I had started in my studio and was hoping to grow my business. So the two of them coming together was good.
I fell out of love with my previous career. I don't know if it was just the backlog of COVID and I had so much time to reflect and think about what I wanted to do in my life next, because I felt like I'd left school in 6th year, and I went, right, all I wanted to do was sell cars, and I done that, and I done it for 10 years and done it successfully. But I feel it was like a glass ceiling. I hit a point where I was like, right, I'm no loving the job, and I think there's nothing worse getting up in the morning and not being able to go to your work and not enjoy it. And then I pretty much thought, right, I've learned all this during COVID, and in my previous career, I did dip in and out of the marketing side, and so I've always had a passion and interest for it. And I thought, do you know what? People were coming to me during that lockdown period as well, and saying, could you do our social media? And I done it, but then I ran out of time because I had to return to full-time employment.
Yeah. And how, like, you run out of time doing social media, but how do you also run out of time doing content? Or, like, I guess from an interior point of view, like if you're with me, your content is always growing because the projects that you're in and they're starting out. So a lot of people love to see a before and an after and a during and whatever. Yeah. So, like, I think for me, the biggest thing that you've done for me is reels on my Instagram, because it's then showing everybody like a whole version of what's happening, not just the finished result, which sometimes is what you just see.
Yeah, and I think you and I will agree that you were probably, when I first came on the scene, you were like, nah, I'm absolutely not. This is my Michelle voice, by the way. You know when you make up her voice? She's like, nah, I'm absolutely not getting on the camera. And now we kind of get you off it. Here we are today filming a podcast. So
God. But yeah, I think what you've said there is you don't want to go to a job that's no fun. And you know, that's a luxury. If you can have that, that's wonderful if you can have that. And I think being self-employed, and we'll talk more about that, is not always fun. It's hard going. As I said, I came for a job that was 22 years in a banking career, corporate career, which was a salary every month and benefits and holiday pays and all the rest of it.
Yep.
When you're self-employed, you don't get that. So, and there's some tough times, and there's some tough challenges with, you know, clients, trades, all of that kind of stuff, which we'll go into as well. But I think fundamentally you want to be able to have fun and enjoy what you're doing and share your passion.
Aye, absolutely, and I think that is it in a nutshell. You've absolutely described it perfectly there. So Michelle, tell me, what have you been working on in the last year?
The last year has been an absolute crazy journey. So I took on my first major commercial project, which was a project in Largs, and it was a bar and a restaurant and an event room and a full entrance staircase with a dome at the top of the stairs, so a big space.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
And absolutely ripping out the ladies' toilets, the men's toilets, redoing them, putting in accessible toilets. So yeah, and the next phase of that building will be a boutique hotel. So that has been absolutely amazing.
That's the beauty of us two working together. That I've been there for a couple of months after you took on the project, and delighted that I've been doing the social media for the very outset that we ultimately know it as now is 33 Largs.
33 Largs, yeah.
And it's been incredible. It's been a journey and a half.
It's definitely been a journey. And there's a journey every week where we drive down to Largs, and we started off singing Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and all this, and then we down in the car until it really got to the nitty gritty, and then we were stressed in the car. Driving
home with no radio on.
Silence, because it was so tough. I think the thing is, it's such a big scale, and you have, I guess for me, it was the first time I'm really been publicly judged. Yeah. So it's like when you work for people, when you work from their houses, and it's just one family. Yeah. You are working to please that family, and as long as you're pleasing that family, you're delighted that you've given them what they want and more. Whereas when you're doing a commercial space like this for the general public to come in and use, it's a bit like, oh my God, what if people don't like it?
And how have you found that transition from being solely focused on residential to actually taking on the commercial? Where's your head at between both? Is that what you're going to lean towards going forward? Do you think I'm going to focus on the commercial side?
I've got to say I loved it, although it was really challenging, and coordinating everything and all the trades that are required, and it was an old Victorian building, so every time you knocked something down, there was just another problem that came along with it. Some things were meant to just be refurbed, they had to be ripped out and totally done again. So
leak after leak, and our gorgeous Scottish weather.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really, really challenging, but I learned so much from the ground up. I mean, I remember one day I was on site, and in the absence of the project manager, all of the trades then thought they would just like come and tell me, can I show you where this leak is in the roof? And I'm thinking, I don't really need to know, to be honest. Like, can you just fix it? But actually indulge them sometimes, because I thought, I want to learn, I want to understand what it is that they're saying, because when trades talk to you, it's like, right, so they're talking sometimes jargon, and it's like you have to say, I don't know what you mean. So from a learning perspective, it was absolutely fantastic. From a stress perspective, it was full on at the end. But I mean, I just enjoyed it. The challenge was fantastic, and the result is fantastic, and the feedback is great, and just it's good.
And obviously, I love the whole journey of doing up houses that I've bought over the last 6-7 years. But actually, one of the things that I took that you told me, which I was just like, wow, like, I was like, what about this chair? What about that kit? You're like, no, the fire regulations don't dictate. Yeah. Sorry, the fire regulations dictate that you can't have that, because.
Yeah, you have to learn so much about like the safety, because you're, I think following like the incident at Cameron House and stuff, you know, it's really serious. And in my head, it was always like, there's people in here. You have to make sure everything is absolutely up to scratch. So learning all about the fabrics and how they had to be treated, and what you could use, and also from such a size and scale of being in a restaurant, I didn't want it just to be all one colour or all one pattern, which you would do in a residential space, so your chairs would be matching. This I wanted to be mismatching but coordinated. So it was quite a challenge. But
you know what I'm like as well with having things like being OCD with these things, especially when I'm showcasing that across their social platforms as well.
I think the thing is, like, since we, from once you set out the vision for the client and you've agreed the concept, you then bring that to life with a 3D render and etc. And everybody then buys into that vision. So, but somewhere along the line, and you struggled with this. When it's wrecked and the place is ripped out and there's leaks and buckets and stuff, and you're actually saying to me, I don't know how this is never going to happen. You're never going to make this work. So you had no faith in me.
What did I just keep saying to you? And you said, "Gotta stop saying that.
Stop saying that. This is a shit show.
This is a shit show."
And I'm like, stop saying that. But ultimately, you have to really hold your nerve and know that what your vision is going to be is going to come to fruition, and you're relying on everybody that's working with you to get on board. So not always possible. I'm sure there'll be many people relate to trades that are not always on board with you. But don't get me wrong, there are some brilliant ones who make it happen as well. So
absolutely,
that's the trials and tribulations of interior design. But this is only the first episode, right? So I will absolutely share like so many stories. I'll not name names, but there has been some really funny stories and some really things that have happened along the way where you think, God, I can never tell anybody that happened. But I will. So that's just me.
It's a tell-all.
You just get me a Prosecco and I'll just tell.
So what are we thinking's on trend for 2025?
Do you know what's really on trend for 2025 is absolutely bringing your own personality to your house.
So I think we've lived through, especially the last couple of years, like everybody was going greys and whites and crushed velvet, and that's gone. It's gone. Now we're in this era, which, hold my hand up, I'm subject to the beige and natural neutral tones across our house, and do you think that's going to die away?
I honestly think like beiges and neutrals and the warm tones and all the natural products, they've always been in trend. It's just that at the moment they're in focus, and people are buying into it. And that's what I mean by actually putting your personality into your home. So many times, especially when it was the grey, you went in somewhere and it was just grey and white and clinical, and there's no personality in that. Whereas
Crushed
now,
diamonds.
yeah,
Love.
crushed velvet and stains everywhere and stuff, and you're just thinking, oh my God. So I honestly think like people have become, maybe it's, you know, home accounts, maybe it's Pinterest, maybe it's Instagram. People have become a lot more brave and confident in their home, where they can say, actually, no, I like that. I like these colours, but I'm going to use other colours with it because I like those colours. I think
as well, like, the more and more accounts I'm seeing across TikTok, Instagram, they're going with what you said, they're trying their own things as well on a DIY front. Yeah. Like, sometimes I'm sitting there like, wow. Like the
upcyclers and the recyclers and the DIYers, and I mean, it's just amazing. I love some of the stuff. Like, actually, my daughter is really good at it. She will go and buy like second-hand chairs, but then she'll paint the legs and she'll recover the seat, and you know, and then these chairs look fabulous because it's absolutely what she wants.
And again, it's bringing it back to the making your space your own,
definitely,
your own stamp on it.
Definitely.
And do you know what? We should, because it's our living spaces. It's a true reflection of you. And we're thrilled to announce that the Scottish Interior Podcast is proudly sponsored by Tyrrell's Home Furnishings.
With over 90 years of experience, Tyrrell's specialise in all things home furnishings, from flooring and carpets to upholstery, living, bedroom and dining furniture. Their commitment to quality, value and exceptional service has made them a trusted name in the industry.
A huge thank you to Tyrrell's Home Furnishings for supporting the podcast, bringing style, comfort and inspiration to homes across Scotland.
I'll tell you what my pet peeve is.
Tell me what your pet peeve is.
So you can have your own personality, absolutely, and I can get on board with that and love it when somebody's really put their heart and soul into it. Do you know what I really hate? When you go in to somebody's house and they've just got really skinny, flat, horrible cushions that are just... I knew
you were going to say that.
Did you know I was going to say that?
I knew that, because every time I see you walking past that cushion, you're...
Oh, I'm just
you
like...
You just like a feather-filled cushion, don't you? It's just got to have a bit of...
And it is a myth that interior designers are just all about cushions and curtains. It really is a myth. I mean, especially when you look at from a commercial point of view. I've just talked about what I've just done. So it's not, and then there was no cushions and there was no curtains. No. So it's like, it is a myth, but like, I hate when you go into a house and it's just these wee skinny flat cushions that do nothing. Yep. Like, at least invest in like feather pads.
Mrs. Interior Design, I'm going to...
Oh God,
don't put me in the spot. I'm going to put you in the spot, and I have prepared some little quick fire questions. So whenever you're ready.
Is it a test?
This is a test. So wallpaper or paint?
Wallpaper.
Maximalist or minimalist?
Maximalist.
Open plan or cosy rooms?
Oh, both. Open plan I do love, but I do love then when your open plans, you've used it, you've got a cosy room to go to.
One colour you'll never use?
Yellow. It is the colour, it makes you happy, and it's sunshine and whatever, but I'm just not on board with yellow.
And one home trend that needs to go?
Flat cushions. Flat cushions, and like, you remember for a long time we did like feature walls, like one feature wall, so everything was painted in the room, and then you just did one small wall with wallpaper
full of teal and cream and brown
like
flowers.
I did it myself. I really did. I might even have had that wallpaper. But
I grew up with that wallpaper, and it was just like, that's the feature. When every house you went in the west of Scotland, it was like, let's put a high pattern flowered paper up.
And maybe that's the maximalist in me, I don't know, but I'm just like, if you're going to use a beautiful wallpaper, use it like in the whole room, make it absolutely stand out. And the same with, like, you know, small rooms like downstairs WCs and whatever, like, go crazy, just unleash your imagination. Colour wash, do the ceiling the same as the walls, all of that stuff. I
keep saying I love colour wash, but have I been brave enough to do it? Absolutely not.
No.
I really want to try it.
So that's your challenge.
I just want to go mental with a paintbrush and paint my ceiling the same colour as the walls.
I think we should set you a challenge and you have to record it, that
Right,
you're
okay.
going to do a colour wash. Where would
It's
you do it?
happening.
In Hattie Larkin's home.
I would probably do it. I would probably do it as a trial to see how much I loved it in the dressing room,
Oh, aye. Yeah, you should.
because I was a bit bold with colours and that, and being bold's good, but sometimes I'm a bit. I've been in there 3 years now, so I go in and I go, oh, right, I'm sick of this colour.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect opportunity to colour wash.
Fantastic. Love it.
And talking about colours, like, what is your thoughts on the Pantone colour of the year?
Mocha mousse.
Mocha Mousse.
I do like it. I do love
We
it.
actually had a good conversation about Mocha Mousse recently when we done our little physical kitchen mood board.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do think, again, it's a brave colour to use if you're not used to using it. So if
Yeah.
you're somebody who's used to lights and greys and stuff, then mocha mousse is a bit of a stretch for you. But again, that's why I would always say, like, when I go in and speak to people, it's like, sometimes people have really good ideas, but they just are not brave enough to go ahead and do it. But your mocha mousse, like,
Until you see
Uh-huh.
3, 6, 12 months down the line, everybody's done it, then they jump on it.
yeah. But yeah, get in there first and do it.
Yeah.
But make it your own. So don't just say, right, I'm going to do mocha mousse for the sake of doing mocha mousse. What is it you're doing it with? Have you got woods? Have
Yeah.
you got like different colours that you want to mix with it?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I've took
what's
total
your...
inspiration for that, because like we've just made an impulse decision, sold the living room furniture, and I thought, let's start again. And actually I've chosen a really nice feature chair that's going to complement that well. It's on the rust. It is all very autumnal but nice and warm as well to go
Yeah.
with that room.
In comparison to the grey, feels warmer, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Great.
So
is
would you
done.
say then, Declan Hattie,
Michelle
that
Brown?
I have taught you something along the way?
I think you have. You've told me to be bold, embrace.
Stop saying this is a shit show.
Absolutely.
What else have I taught you? So the other thing that comes across when you come to houses with me, I can tell in your face. So I'm like presenting some, you know, whether it be a mood board or paper or paint or whatever, and I can just hear the silence, and I'm like, Declan clearly doesn't like this. But I think what you've admitted to is that when it's no your style,
Yeah.
you find it difficult to.
And what I process with that is that you taught me ultimately to not think that you're getting in there to design your own house.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting in to fit the client's brief and what
Yeah.
they want to ascertain. So
Yeah. And I think when I did my training, it was like, you know, people will say to me, you can't turn down a job. Like, you never turn down a job. And I was always of that mindset. But actually, if somebody came to me and said, this is what I'm looking for, I really want like really old Victorian style mahogany wardrobes and stuff like that, I don't think I could get on board with that, because I just don't know that how I could visualise that
Yeah.
and make that happen for a client. So I would then be honest and say to somebody, I don't think I can
Yeah.
get on board with your vision, and I don't think it would be the best outcome for you or me. So I would recommend that you go to somebody else. And that was a piece of advice I gave when we were on the stage at Ideal Home Show. We had live questions, which
Yeah.
had not been prepared in any shape or form. So it was like, on the spot. And this woman said, like, how do you choose an interior designer? Because ultimately, we all offer the same thing. But what I said to her was, it's about relationships, and it's about how you interpret, how you work with that person, how you communicate with them, how you can
Yeah.
read what they want. And ultimately, you want to give somebody something that they haven't thought of. Like, that's the magic of it. It's like, I had never thought of that, but I love it. Like, that is the magic. So I think for me, it's always like, yeah, maybe this is not what I would have in my house, but I can absolutely see, and you know, how this would fit into this client brief, and about how they live, how they use their space. And these are always questions that I ask when we're doing consultations, like, tell me about how you use your home. So if I was asking you that, you would be saying, Patty, Angus the wee dog, he has to have his space. Do you know? And it is like, do you have kids? Do you have pets?
Yeah.
Do you have people that stay over? Are you a party household? Do you want to have separate rooms that the kids can go if they're older, go and watch movies, all that kind of stuff? It's actually understanding how somebody lives in their home.
Totally. Great words of wisdom, Michelle.
Yes.
So you touched on Ideal Home Show.
Yes, I did.
Can't believe it. We're back again.
I know.
We are back. Rylan and Ruth are back.
It's dead funny because, like, you just grew up with Ideal Home Show, didn't you? You went along and it was like all the gadgets and stuff that was new and whatever.
And you know, it's became something, especially since I set up the home account. It's ultimately been present every year. Let us email in the inbox, we want to work with you, and I was like,
I know,
wow,
fantastic.
And then you and I, the design duo.
I know, but to think that you're sharing a stage or doing, you know, a slot up there along with the likes of Banjo, who won Interior Design Masters and now doing wonderful in his Hebrides, designing the Hebrides series.
Incredible Anna Campbell-Jones.
Anna Campbell-Jones.
Absolute icon.
I mean, such talent, and you're just like, that's amazing. And it's bits like that, like, I think we are very guilty in the west of Scotland of not being able to say, like, I'm actually doing really well. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do that a lot. And I think when working with you, we say to each other, like, proud of you, like, that was really good, I'm proud of that. So we big each other up, but it's sometimes you just, there are moments there where you go, actually, I'm proud of myself for that.
So do you think we should take the podcast with us on stage this year? And
I don't know how you would do that, but anyway, that's technical chat, so I don't know. But yeah, Roadshow.
I know. So no, that's exciting. So let's let everybody know it's the Friday the 23rd of May.
Yep.
In the SAC Glasgow, and
taking questions unfiltered.
Unfiltered. So yeah, we're on in the launch day, aren't we? That'll be exciting, so can't wait for that. Come along, see us guys, Friday 23rd of May, opening day of the Ideal Home Show.
Yep.
So excited. What slot are we on? 2 to 2:45? 2
till 2:45, yeah.
Yep, so
we'd love
minutes.
to see all of the seats filled and any questions from any of our followers.
Yep, and thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of the Scottish Interior Podcast. So thanks for listening, guys. You can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify and YouTube.